Coming up on Focal Point, recent race, religion, and ethnic incidents are causing concern and fear in the MSU community. The president is pledging an inclusive campus.
I feel like it wasn't a prank or anything like that. I feel like it was maliciously done with hatred in mind.
California passed a new bill that requires some public universities to offer abortion pills. Opinions here in Michigan are mixed.
The Democratic presidential race is tightening. We'll show you who's surging in the polls. Plus, how one man is helping kids stay out of trouble, teaching life skills all for free. Focal Point starts now.
Welcome to Focal Point. I'm Griffin Stroyan.
And I'm Tony Black. Today we begin with controversy on campus. Several incidents with racial overtones have many in the community concerned.
The first one started in the Brody neighborhood. The students involved say it was a Halloween prank, but other students felt threatened. What appeared to be nooses made from toilet paper were taped to the dorm doors of two African-American residents. The students involved say they did not intend any harm or offend anyone, but other students feel it was a racist attack. Peyton Wells works in Bryan Hall as an intercultural aide. She wonders how it could be anything but a hateful act.
I didn't think that it was a prank. There's only 4 black girls on the floor. So just like probability-wise, you wouldn't, put that on a black person's door because it's just like, it's majority white. So it wasn't adding up to me. I feel like it wasn't a prank or anything like that. I feel like it was maliciously done with hatred in mind.
And just a few days later, an online survey conducted by an advertising and public relations professor proved to contain questions that were hurtful to minorities. The goal of the survey by Dr. Salim Al-Habash was to rank the comments based on how stereotypical, funny, or offensive they were. A warning was given at the beginning of the survey to alert students about the offensive messages they were about to see, but the comments still hurt those who took the survey. Some of the comments included comparing African Americans to gorillas and suggesting people of the LGBTQ community kill themselves. In a statement, MSU President Samuel Stanley said the concerns of the campus community are being taken seriously. Communication Arts and Sciences Dean Prabhu David apologized in a separate statement on behalf of Professor Al-Habash's study. David said he will be, quote, working with faculty to ensure that this does not happen again.
In a separate incident, damage at the Hillel Jewish Student Center at MSU ended a week-long harvest celebration. The vandalism occurred when 2 males were caught on video destroying an outdoor structure called a sukkah, which is put up during the Jewish holiday of Sukkot. Staff at Hillel posted security footage online, hoping someone will recognize the 2 men. It's not clear whether it was a deliberate hate crime or a prank, and say this is the first time they've experienced anything like this here at MSU.
It's a lot more real now that it's happening on our campus, and I'm just kind of wondering what we can do. I know there's not much, but I don't want anyone to feel like they can do anything like this to us again.
Residents in South Neighborhood were shocked when a student tweeted at 2 a.m. last Thursday that ICE agents were spotted in the neighborhood. That created frustration for many students as to why MSU would allow ICE on campus. A spokesperson for ICE denied any presence. An MSU spokesperson told Focal Point that ICE agents were on campus, but only for a presentation. ASMSU, the student government, passed a bill just days later requiring the university to notify students of ICE presence.
All 4 of these troubling incidents have come in the last week and a half.
Alyssa Burr joins us now with an inside look at student reactions to the controversies on campus.
Yeah, Griffin, Tony. Some students feel threatened. Others want to know why this happened on their very own campus. 2 student groups got together to talk about it.
These incidents that have been taking place over the past week on campus has impacted me a lot.
Sydney Kilborn felt it was important to be here tonight.
And not just me, my friends, my black community on campus.
A diverse group of students met at Acres Hall because they don't feel safe. The latest controversies that hit MSU's campus? A toilet paper noose and a survey filled with hate speech.
Also know that you're allowed to bid on your experiences.
The forum was put together by MSU's Black Students Alliance.
We want to hear what the community had to say so that we can know what further steps we had to take.
And the Associated Students of Michigan State University for students to voice their concerns.
It said that it was a prank, but just me personally, I didn't think that it was a prank.
Peyton Wells works at Bryan Hall, where a few days prior, what she says was a noose was found on the door of 2 black residents.
The way it was tied, and also because I'm just thinking like it had loops around it.
MSU police concluded it was a Halloween prank, but students aren't laughing.
If you try to tie toilet paper, especially with the MSU toilet paper, it'll crumble or it'll break. So I mean, for somebody to tie knots in that, it had to be like you did that with a thought in mind.
It's just kind of like, what's next? Like, what's going to happen next with this? I feel like nobody's doing anything.
The College of Communication Arts and Sciences, the Resident Education and Housing Services, and the president of the university have all sent emails apologizing. But it might be too late for apologies.
This is something that we need to talk about, and we need to heal as a community and grow as a community, and something that we can't sweep under the rug.
Students are upset and don't feel safe, but the forum gave students a chance to find solutions.
Thanks, Alyssa. Roe v. Wade, which gave women the right to get an abortion, is being challenged in a lot of states like Ohio and Georgia. But another state is in full support, with new legislation and mixed opinions.
Nothing, it seems, is as controversial as abortions. California becomes the first state requiring some universities to offer abortion pills.
We think this is a very bad idea.
Perry Pung is the president of Protect Life at MSU.
Miscarriage would be kind of naturally, and abortion is always intentional.
The new bill affects University of California and California State University systems. The student takes 2 pills during the first 10 weeks of pregnancy to induce a miscarriage.
We definitely think that this is a good idea because it increases gender equity on campus. Right?
Debbie Mizek is the head of Michigan State's Women's Council. She says this is a good step forward for California.
If you can avoid a surgery, wouldn't you want to, and wouldn't you want to have that abortion sooner if you could?
Both have different concerns. In Michigan,
here, unfortunately, we're on the defense, whereas they have the luxury of being on the offense when it comes to reproductive health care.
In California,
they could be going through this horrible, tragic process by themselves in their own dorm room.
According to the FDA, there has been 24 deaths in association with the pills.
Much more than 24 women have medication abortions and do them themselves.
While their views may be different, both sides want what they think is best for women.
They are capable of carrying their pregnancy to term, and they're strong enough to do that.
What I'm more concerned with in Michigan is helping to protect reproductive freedom.
The act takes effect in 2023 and can be performed by student healthcare providers or a contracted external agency. Coming up next on Focal Point, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders are the top 3 contenders for the Democratic presidential nomination, but another candidate is gaining popularity.
And while the Democrats are running for a president, a different kind of race trotted its way to campus. Last week, we'll have more on the Great Michigan Lakes International Draft Horse Show after the break.
Students are crucial to WKAR's success. It's a great opportunity for the students to learn, and it's a great chance for us to teach students so that they're ready to go out into the real world. Students are the heartbeat of WKAR.
Backstage Pass has given me hands-on experience working with a team and working with the equipment.
Going to class, you learn all this stuff, but then being able to apply it while you're a student as well is really fantastic.
It's been awesome seeing a project go from just emails to a full production day where we have bands coming in. It's been awesome to see that bigger picture come to life.
I'm always excited when I get to work on live productions, especially Backstage Pass.
Having this knowledge at my disposal while I'm in college is really beneficial to what I want to do after I graduate.
It's extremely important to have students because it helps with the success of WKAR and public broadcast as a whole. The opportunities are endless for students here.
It's been over a week since the 4th Democratic debate, and we still have 12 candidates reaching for the White House.
While Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and former Vice President Joe Biden seem to be the frontrunners, there's someone else coming up in the polls. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is making a move in the Democratic presidential race. The Iowa caucus is 4 months away, but the South Bend mayor finds himself in a 3-way race with former VP Joe Biden and Senator Elizabeth Warren. Polls in Iowa show Mayor Pete between 13% and 16%, while Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren stand at about 17% each. In the last debate, Mayor Pete took a more aggressive approach to Senator Warren's Medicare for All plan. Buttigieg claims that Medicare for All would wipe out private insurance, and his plan entitled Medicare for All Who Want It is more realistic. Mayor Pete has also seen a surge in fundraising, surpassing Joe Biden and even raising over $1 million in the 24 hours following last week's debate.
As Halloween creeps in, leaders at MSU are reminding students to be respectful when choosing their costumes.
Plus, find out why hundreds of horses invaded campus this week. Alyssa Burr is in the Spartan newsroom with those stories and more in our on-campus report. Alyssa?
Yeah, Griffin, Tony, Halloween is less than a week away. And while you may have your costume picked out already, Michigan State wants to make sure students are being conscious with their attire. Signs have been posted around some student living areas asking if their costumes are racially, ethnically, or culturally based. The culture is not a costume. Posters include people dressed as Native Americans, Chinese princesses, and an alien holding a green card to represent illegal immigrants. The posters aim to inform students of the difference between cultural appropriation, taking over practices of one's culture without understanding, and cultural appreciation, which is honoring the origins.
I think a lot of students probably don't mean harm with their Halloween costumes, but when they look at these, they might realize how they can be really offensive to some.
While the university is not banning costumes, a communications officer for residential and hospitality services, which has oversight of the residence halls, tells Focal Point through the materials on cultural appropriation, which we are encouraging students to consider the impact that their costume choices may have on others in order to create an environment where Spartans feel safe, welcome, and appreciated. The posters aren't new this year, but they received more attention after former game show host Chuck Woolery falsely tweeted that Michigan State banned pieces like sombreros and aliens in orange suits. Another weekend meant another 5K. This time, the athletes brought more than just their running shoes. Women, families, and friends gathered to show support to the women in their lives. The 5K, known as the Wonder Woman Series, encourages women of all ages to show the world their strength and determination. Participants dressed as a superhero Wonder Woman while enjoying music, gifts from vendors, and taking pictures with Spartan. The goal of the event was to celebrate all the wonderful things women do in their everyday lives. Jody Strank told us that what this day means for her.
I think it's just really important that we empower women all around the world, not just here on Michigan State University's campus. It's just a wonderful event to show women everything that they can accomplish.
The event was planned in less than 3 months thanks to MSU and Warner Brothers. The Michigan Great Lakes International Draft Horse Show came to East Lansing last weekend. The annual 4-day show features events like hitching, pulling, and riding. The MSU Pavilion was home to over 600 horses last weekend for the MGLI Draft Horse Show. Owners and horses alike came from not only U.S., but also Germany, England, and Canada. The horses were judged in competition, showing off all kinds of skills. Those attending the event were also able to check out the horses behind the scenes.
We're using it in agriculture, we're using it in logging, we're using it in commercial hitches, what I call a commercial hitch.
This was the 43rd show put on by MGLI. This year's attendance was around 30,000 over the 4 days. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Melissa Burr. Back to Griffin in the studio.
When school ends every day, the learning doesn't, and some Lansing kids know exactly where to go.
Come on, put the equipment up. Let's get in the ring, let's go.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday after school, this building fills up.
We have a youth boxing program, so kids that are age 8 to 17 can come in and box.
With non-paying customers.
Jab, hold it out there. Well, the program that we have is a free program for all the youth in the Lansing area.
You could say that boxing is Ali Easley's life.
Come on, get your punch up a little, eye level.
Really, it's the kids he cares about the most because it makes them strong. Well, actually, Jalen says it perfectly.
Be stronger enough.
And then combination number 3. 1, 2, and move. 1, 2, now move.
For almost 30 years, Coach Easley has opened up his Crown Boxing Club to kids like Zaire Doyle.
I like boxing because I can just get stress out. If I'm holding something in, I can just hit the bag.
Besides running a boxing business, Easley finds it's important to give back to his community.
Gives them a sense of workout, figure how to develop work skills, hard work.
A counterpunch to kids having to roam the streets with nothing to do.
I get a lot of satisfaction out of it by seeing the growth and development of the kids, seeing them do better in school, seeing that they're not getting, arrested or in trouble.
In fact, he cares so much.
Excuse me for just a minute. Excuse me, I gotta answer the phone.
It was tough for him to even stand still for an interview. He's got more important things to do.
All right, do it again. You gotta stay focused, man.
From little ones like Jalen.
I'm learning what to hook to.
To college kids like Matthew Alati. It's one giant neighborhood under one roof.
It's actually really cool. I've met 3 or 4 of them, made a pretty good friend with them. I've met one of their dads actually.
this isn't just about boxing.
And then when we're done, they have an hour's worth of tutoring where they're fed and they take care of their homework assignments, everything for the next day.
It's helping them.
That's it, 3 combinations, understand?
Through all the different rounds of life. Crown Boxing is having a huge boxing match tonight as kids throughout the city take on one another. If you're interested in boxing or just want to help support the gym, the action starts at 7 p.m.
Michigan State men's basketball kicks off the season on a high note while the Spartan football team tries to get back to winning.
Brandon Rothenberg joins us in the newsroom with those stories and what's coming up in sports. Brandon?
Yeah, guys, MSU women's volleyball comes up short in a challenging Big Ten matchup against Penn State. And find out how running can be relaxing for green and white cross country. That's all coming up on Focal Point.
Earliest recollection of Michigan State was actually seeing the marching band. I'm a proud member of the Spartan marching band. I served as the drum major at Michigan State for 4 years, and it was really one of the highlights of my college career, and the opportunity really set me up for success in not only my career, but also being a leader in my company. The program I was able to study allowed me the opportunity to understand a variety of the communication disciplines, and I think it was that opportunity to be able to understand journalism, to understand public relations, other aspects of communication, and certainly advertising really allowed me to create kind of a general understanding and really pave the way for me to go and create and invent and build the career that I wanted to pursue. I love that we have students at Michigan State who are eager, they're thirsty for knowledge, they have the tenacity to want to go and roll up their sleeves, they want to learn the trade, they want to learn the craft, and I just feel like it's my responsibility to be able to share with people the success I've created and be able to open doors for them to create the same.
Hall of Fame men's basketball coach Tom Izzo has had quite the career. Reaching 8 Final Fours and winning 1 national championship are all career achievements for Izzo. But earlier this week, he was able to add one more accomplishment to his legacy. The Spartans have been picked to win it all this season, opening the season #1 in the AP Men's College Basketball preseason poll for the first time in program history. But the joy of this accomplishment didn't last long. On the same day, Izzo learned that senior shooting guard Josh Langford has re-injured his foot and will be out until at least January. A roller coaster of a day for the Spartans, and for Izzo, he feels terrible for his senior.
I love Josh Langford. He's one of those guys that has given me everything on the court, off the court, and in the classroom. Like almost nobody I've had.
With Langford out, many wonder who will start for the Spartans. Senior Kyle Arns could be the man for the job, but he's had his fair share of injuries in the past. The team will have to figure this out soon, though. They host Albion this upcoming Tuesday in an upcoming matchup. But tonight is Michigan State Madness, a chance for fans to meet both the men's and women's teams. Doors open for players meet and greet at 8:30 p.m. After dropping back-to-back games against top 10 opponents in Ohio State and Wisconsin, the MSU football team was able to try and recollect themselves going into the bye week. But now they have another top 10 matchup, this time against number 6 Penn State. Even with a 2-game losing streak, Coach Mark D'Antonio is hopeful, as the Spartans have had success against the Nittany Lions in the past.
We played well against them, and we played and found a way to win the last 2 years. So, should be an exciting game to watch. Opportunity to step forward and reset, as I said.
The last 2 games between these teams have been close, and even with Penn State ranked in the top 10 both years, both games ended in Michigan State's favor. The Spartans will go for 3 straight this Saturday at Spartan Stadium. Kickoff is set for 3:30. Speaking of the Nittany Lions, the volleyball team has struggled against some of the best teams in the country, and when Penn State rolled into East Lansing last Saturday, the Spartans felt they had something to prove. Kathy George is anything but disappointed with the progress her team has shown after last year's struggles. But the Nittany Lions were hungry for a dub. Michigan State raised some eyebrows in the first set. Here's Molly Johnson crushing this one for a kill. She would finish with 7. The Spartans led by as many as 7 points in this one, but old Penn State took a timeout to get things squared away. The Nittany Lions clawed their way back into this set, winning 26-24, and that would tell the tale of the rest of this one. Michigan State gets swept and moves on to 13-5 on the year.
We didn't fight back as well as we should, and there's a problem if we're not doing that. So we've got to make sure that we look at where we were, what we were doing, and what's the way we how intentional are we about finishing teams off.
It's not easy playing in the Big Ten, as every game is a test, but tough competition can drastically improve a team. Michigan State has 2 more top 10 opponents this week in Wisconsin and Minnesota, 2 more chances for the Spartans to improve their resume. The Michigan State cross-country team has gone under the radar for quite some time, despite all of its success. Focal Point Sam Britton introduces us to a couple of runners who help make a difference on the team.
Could you actually start running before you could start walking?
I would say, honestly, since I've been like 2 or 3.
I guess 6th grade, 11 years old. No equipment necessary.
You just need yourself and a pair of shoes, and it's relaxing. And
Michigan State cross country. Running is usually punishment in other sports, but for Annie Fuller and Morgan Beadlescombe, running through the woods and sometimes in mud couldn't be more appealing.
It's you against you, but you are also competing with a team and have this cohesive group of girls that are going toward the same goal.
I mean, even the community is great. Kind of a tight-knit community. You can start talking to anyone no matter what their event is.
A program doesn't get as successful as this one without a great head coach, but Walt Drenth gives all the credit to his runners.
I think we just found the right combination of kids and had an expectation of success.
Let's just stay outside the lines here.
Now in his 14th year coaching at MSU, Drenth has 4 Coach of the Year awards, 15 All-Americans, and a national championship. But what gives him the most joy is watching his runners improve.
I mean, my X, Y's, and Z's are more about the growth of the student athletes than anything.
Fuller was an All-American last season with a chance to repeat this year. If she does repeat, her family will need to break out the tissues.
My uncles are just the toughest guys ever. Like, I've never seen them cry in my life, and they were crying for me.
It's an emotional sport.
I just started bawling and hugging everybody.
A mental battle for 3 to 6 miles.
It's a time to zone out and not focus on classes, not focus on, what's going on at home.
Mile to mile. Michigan State will continue its dominance under the radar. Sam Britton. Focal Point News.
The women's cross-country team is still Michigan State's only female sports team to win a national championship. The Spartans competed at the Nutty Comb Invitational last Friday in Wisconsin, placing 5th in women's and 25th in men's. Individually, Annie and Morgan finished 13th and 7th. And that's what's happening this week in sports. I'm Brandon Rothenberg.
Thanks, Brandon. The Warren Center is gearing up for several Broadway shows, and Benedict Cumberbatch hits the big screen.
Also, fans are feeling the force with the latest Star Wars trailer. Let's head over to Luke Saccone for what's going on in entertainment this week. Luke?
That's right, guys. Get ready to jump into hyperspace this holiday season with the final installment of Star Wars. This one is The Rise of Skywalker.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of it.
Here's a bright idea. Join Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch this weekend as they race to invent the light bulb. Or you could follow Bruce Springsteen as he explains his journey to fame in the new movie, Western Stars.
The future is here.
This epic film, based on true events, takes us into the competitive world of inventing.
Greatest provider of electrical power in the world. Better than Edison.
Just as Thomas Edison is ready to light up the world, businessman George Westinghouse and his partner Nikola Tesla proved that they too could ignite the Industrial Revolution.
Sometimes we have to work outside of the rules to get what's right.
Rules are broken and dreams are created.
To truly win.
Follow along as they battle to electrify America.
You never know what's going to happen with new music. Heading for heartbreaking pain.
This weekend, take a closer look at Bruce Springsteen's time in the spotlight.
Catch me now, 'cause tomorrow I'll be gone.
and his darker hours.
The older you get, the heavier that baggage becomes that you haven't sorted through.
Co-directing and starring in the film, he opens up about his journey going west.
Change. How do you change yourself?
About his love for wife Patty Scalfa.
And we're always trying to find somebody whose broken pieces fit with our broken pieces.
And leaves his songs to tell the rest. A story about a boy who just wants to fit in, an adventure with people fighting for a better life, and a tale of a boy who falls in love with Princess. Here's what's coming soon to the Wharton Center.
Broadway's best musical is Dear Evan Hansen.
On Monday, tickets went on sale for the 6-time Tony-winning musical Dear Evan Hansen, which will grace the Wharton stage from June 16th to June 21st, 2020. A year after Lin-Manuel Miranda swept the Broadway scene with Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen stole the spotlight with its relatable and emotionally compelling lyrics written by Oscar, Tony, Grammy, and Golden Globe winners Ben Pasek and Justin Paul. But before we meet Evan Hansen, from November 12th to the 17th, Les Mis will be telling the story of the miserable people of the French Revolution, adapted from Victor Hugo's original novel. From Paris to Agrabah, Disney's Aladdin will be flying in on a magic carpet to the Wharton stage from December 4th to the 15th. To purchase tickets for any of these shows, go to whartoncenter.com. That's a look at entertainment this week. I'm Luke Saccone. Griffin, Tony?
Yeah, Tony, I don't know about you, but I know at the Stroyan household, we will definitely be watching Western Stars. My dad is probably the biggest Bruce fan, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely a classic. With so many coffee shops around town, you may have a favorite spot to grab your brew. But now, this new coffee shop offers an experience you can't get anywhere else. Constellation Cat Cafe is a non-profit coffee shop where you can spend some time hanging out with cats. All of the profits from the cafe go towards cats rescuing efforts like food, toys, and cleaning supplies. It costs $8 an hour to chill with more than a dozen cats, and there's always the opportunity for adoption.
So all of our cats in the cafe are adoptable and looking for their forever homes. They come from our rescue partner, Saved by Zaid, which is a foster-based rescue group, which is why we wanted to partner with them so they could have like a physical shelter space here.
The cost to adopt a cat is $125. To fill out an application, visit their website at constellationcatcafe.com. You know, those cats are definitely cute. I hope that they find a home forever.
Yeah, not a coffee drinker, but a big cat fan, so I would definitely go there for the cats.
All right, well, that's all we have for this week's episode. Be sure to stay up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Focal Point News, I'm Tony Black.
And I'm Griffin Stroyan. We leave you now with the sounds of the MSU Wind Symphony.